Hi, Text Me Backalites.
Hi, babies, little babies. My babies.
Meagan and Mindy. And
Meagan,
we are here. Yes.
do you think that if I gave birth to all the Text Me Backlights that I would do it one at a time like a litter of puppies? Or would I lay like an egg sack?
1,000 eggs.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, since I think the egg sack is more disgusting, that's what I think that you would do.
Yeah. I would.
Anyways, not to bring egg sacks into it. But guess what, gang? We recorded another special Too Beautiful to Live Text Me Back crossover episode, which you are about to listen to with your ear holes right after we're done talking. But we just wanted to introduce it to you. And we also wanted to say it's our last episode of the calendar year of 2024. I hope you enjoyed it.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yes. It's the Santa Claus.
Yes.
I can't remember how many Santa Clauses they made.
Oh, a lot, I think.
Like 10. So,
Bride of Santa Claus, Son of Santa Claus.
Santa Claus returns.
Santa Claus back in the habit.
One of our classic ones.
Here is what I want to say. We're gonna say bye-bye for the month of December so that Meagan and I can both lie down and TCB. Take care of some business.
Why? This cannot be podcast.
Is that what Deadpool's like? That's what Deadpool's like, right? That's the vibe that I imagine.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But don't be sad. I don't want to give the Text Me Back guarantee. The Text Me Back guarantee is that I might not do this. But but my goal is to go back into the vault and find some old treats and throw them up.
Yeah. The Text Me Back guarantee is we promise a lot and rarely deliver.
No, we sometimes deliver. And I'm going to try to sometimes deliver a couple of holiday treats for you in December, even though we won't be actively recording. But we have some crazy shit from when we first started. We have an unaired pilot that I don't think we ever aired where Meagan explains. Not the original one where you explain what committees. Where you explain
no, that's so boring.
No, it's not. Meagan explained to me what committees are, and it was funny because I don't know anything. I'm stupid. So I've been trying to learn that.
We talked about how Marjorie Taylor Greene entered porn into the congressional record, but we might have aired that. I really don't remember. Let us know. If you have any idea what I'm talking about, send us a message.
And there's also one where we talked about Popeye. I'm going to find that.
That one I'm convinced that we put up somewhere.
I don't think we did. I think you're right. It was between that and the Castaway. New Castaway just dropped, and we chose the Castaway. I don't think we aired Popeye. But anyway, if you have heard us talk about Popeye,
send us a message,
and you don't work at KUOW, they heard
You're
it.
not one of our perfect angels that we mention at the end of every show.
Let us know. If you haven't ever heard us talk about Popeye and you're like a Text Me Backaholic and you've listened to every single episode, let us know, and then I'll find it and I'll put it on the podcast as a holiday treat. But anyway,
for now, enjoy this, our third, I think Timtle of the Dog crossover event.
It's really funny.
Yeah, and I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving because right now is Friday, November 29th, and I hope you have a good December holidays. I guess I shouldn't be like Merry Christmas.
This podcast is a theocracy, and prayer is required. And
yes,
we'll be putting the 10 Commandments in the show notes.
We will be putting the 10 Commandments in the show notes. We will be doing that thing where we send you like a free Bible in a bunch of different languages. You see what's funny? This podcast is what they like to call the long con baby. And you've just been evangelized.
Meagan, I have a question. Are we like Deadpool? Are we Deadpool?
Am I Ryan Reynolds? Have I become that which I hate?
Do I hate what I most fear in myself? Oh no.
Okay. Enjoy Timtle of the dog, colon, 3, the timtaling.
It's just 4 Ryan Reynoldses talking over each other about
You're gonna love it.
about nematodes. Please enjoy.
Oh, I like that little nugget.
Is that a spoiler?
No, it's not a spoiler. No, it's marketing.
Billboard. I billboarded
Yeah,
it.
you billboarded.
They say do your market research. Make sure that you billboard your hottest items for your demo, and that's nematodes, baby.
Why is this a 10-minute long intro? By the way, there's nothing to billboard because we just did 1 hour long segment. Get excited. Here it is. We're not talking anymore.
Goodbye.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Enjoy it. Goodbye.
You guys like guitar solos?
No.
Me neither.
Who
Me neither.
requested that?
I don't know.
You know?
But they're in every song. Well, not every song, but way too many songs.
I agree.
Sometimes I like a short one. Like I feel like sometimes in a Weezer song or something, there'll be a thing where it's like doodly-doo, and I'm like, yeah, and then that's it.
Right.
I like that.
I'd say the Pixies, and Tom Petty gets a good one in there every now and then. Just
sure.
Let's get to the point. Let's stay on topic.
Leave them wanting more.
Speaking of, I will allow Prince. I will R.I.P. He was allowed as many guitar solos as he wanted, and he very famously had a intense one involving Tom Petty right after George Harrison died. They did like a "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" jam, and I don't even know that Tom Petty knew they had invited Prince. He just sort of showed up, started jamming, and everyone was like, what the fuck is going on? And then Prince wouldn't stop. And then George Harrison's son was like, this rocks. This is the best day of my life, even though my dad just passed away. And then I think everyone knows this. Then Prince threw his guitar in the air and it was never seen again. It never landed. No one knows what happened to it. It just sort of entered the skies.
It's like that bit that you used to do where you were pretending to play with a baby.
There was a dog.
Oh, a dog. You were throwing it in the air, and then eventually... Where'd it go?
This doggy's gone to heaven. There's a Prince guitar solo that I just discovered recently, and it is making me so happy. I've been sending it to everyone. It's Q-Tip from Tribe Called Quest is doing Vibrant Thing, and I don't think anyone, including Q-Tip, realized Prince was backstage and just comes out and starts playing the dun, dun, like the 2 notes. And then there's some point where the crowd starts making this noise. It's not a huge venue. And like Q-Tip looks over and realizes a tiny, tiny man is going dun, dun, on the guitar. And like the place freaks out and like it completely changes the energy of the whole show. And it's also like it's a riff that I could play.
Right.
It's like 2 notes, but somehow Prince is still elevating it to some level that it's never been before.
He just was the coolest person who ever lived. You know what I mean? He could do whatever. Anyway, rest in peace, King. Mm-hmm. Sorry to bring down the mood.
Welcome to
Have we started the show? Is the show begun? I don't know. Welcome to Tinsel of the Derg. The number one top guitar solo podcast.
I am shocked that name has stuck, and I don't mean that, Meagan, insultingly.
No, you should insult me. It was really stupid.
But like so many things that are not overthought, it has turned out to be the perfect name for this thing.
It's so dumb.
Look, I haven't heard anyone come up with anything better. So
so we're waiting. Well, we're excited to be here. Should we do some tidings?
Absolutely. Can I ask a quick pre-tidings question? Because I've been here at my little house working on some things today, and I've had the song Tidings of Comfort and Joy. It just absolutely assaulting my brain because I've been thinking I need a tidings, and then my brain goes to that song. Is that a hazard of having a segment called Tidings? Are you thinking of that song at some low frequency at all times?
Because we have our own tidings jingle, which I keep meaning to send you so you can have it on your media board when we arrive on your show. But so no, it's always just like Handel's Messiah is Handel's Messiah's B-side.
is in my brain at all times.
I do think that that's where tidings came from. Like we were thinking of like, what's a funny word for like, how are you? News of the day. And then I'm sure it was Meagan came up with tidings, which is really only ever used in the context of tidings of comfort and joy. So it has to have like that's its ancestry.com, but that's not
legacy.
Are they the ones that are like deeply in debt? Is that Ancestry or is that 23andMe?
Oh God, I don't know, but I have both of those.
I think 23andMe is in serious. One of them is in serious financial trouble, and I have a theory, and I think 23andMe started suffering when all of the true crime shows started coming out about how they were catching murderers from their third cousin. And I'll tell you what, I felt pretty glad that I'm not in that shit.
It's really crazy. Well, you don't even have to be.
What?
One of your all you need is for one of your third cousins to be in there.
Hannah.
And then
It's probably my sister Hannah.
Then your goose is cooked, sir.
Like
all those unsolved murders you committed, it's over, Burbank.
If your random ass cousin comes to you and is like, don't you ever fucking sign up for 23andMe.
Yeah.
Then
We've got a hot lead.
Yeah, call the FBI for sure. Well, it's creepy. I mean, I don't know. We just started sending our DNA to websites.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just weird because it's like, I know you sent your DNA to a website, but it's just weird because like the founding fathers were like, what's the worst thing I could imagine? The government having access to your information without a warrant. And then we were all like, what if we sent our DNA to a website? They didn't even ask for it.
Okay, so
I want to do it.
In my defense, here's what happened. Here's what happened because I used to feel like that, and I honestly still do. But however, I became depressed and nihilistic, and my mom got me a 23andMe kit for Christmas, and I was like, sure, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
And so like I was like, I don't know. I'm going to die before they do anything with this DNA, whatever. But now I'm like, why did I do? Because I did find out some interesting information, which is that I have a secret cousin who I haven't figured out who she is yet. I have a first cousin who, so like one of my aunts or uncles had a secret baby.
But they're not accounted for? Like it doesn't give you a name of the person?
Oh, no, I have their name. I've never heard of them before in my life.
Oh, wow.
So I have not reached out to this person. But me and 3 of my other cousins who are on there, we're all first cousins, and she's our first cousin. We have 15% DNA in common. So anyway, seems like probably Uncle Pear, rest in power, maybe.
Oh.
Because like we would have known. There's only 2 uncles.
I'm sorry. A guy named Pear is far too Scandinavian to be out there tomcatting around.
I think he was a rascal. I think he was a rascal.
He was a little rascal. I was going to say, how does Bonnie feel about this? But she doesn't know either. So
they didn't even have any kids together, I don't think. Or no, maybe.
Oh, so she doesn't care.
Look, I can't keep track of all of these people, but she doesn't care. It would have been pre-Bonnie.
Pre-Bonnie. Oh,
yeah.
Bonnie was such a glamorous lady.
That's why she's already moved on to her new husband and she's off living some glamorous life. I'm like, this woman was my aunt for my entire life. I have not heard from her since the day my uncle died.
12 years.
She's like, I'm someone else's aunt now. Bye.
Did you, like, along with depression and nihilism, did you submit this thing because you were hoping you were, like, related to Betsy Ross or something?
And
I love that that's the coolest person from history that I could think of.
That's the coolest person from history. And yes, specifically Betsy Ross. Of course there's, like, narcissism in it. Like, and by the way, no, I'm not related to anyone interesting who's ever lived, which is actually kind of cute. And so then I got into Ancestry.com. So like between 23andMe and Ancestry.com, they own my whole shit. My whole ass. And that's honestly, I guess I still feel nihilistic about it. I'm like, I don't care. This diverted me for 3 hours and that was worth it.
I think I have some good news here, though, because you mentioned something about, what do you call the thing that you play audio from when you discuss it on your show? You call it what, an audio?
Oh, I called it the media board.
The media board. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't. I have something here called Music Bee. I don't know what that is, but it's got this in it.
send you the song.
I
That's
just
so
forget to
nice.
load it up.
For the
Yeah.
media bee.
That's
Or the media
beautiful,
bee.
beautiful.
The
That put me in a
music
totally different state of mind. That made me
I know.
really ready for this.
Before we get into all of your pedestrian tidings, Lindy and I have some very exciting mega tidings.
Magic tidings.
Magic tidings, which is that we're Magic Mind ambassadors now, dudes. Okay, it's pretty major. It's pretty huge. We're very excited about it because Magic Mind, which is a mental performance shot, and God knows we need it. Our brains are soup.
Yep.
They do not work properly without our Magic Mind performance shot. So
That's why Joe Biden has appointed us ambassadors to the Magic Kingdom of Magic Mind.
it's only a 30-day appointment.
Yep. He did a survey of all the minds in the land, and he said those two need a little magic.
They need more magic in their
Honestly,
minds.
you
than
guys
almost
do what
anybody.
you can in the next 30 days, okay?
Yeah, we're doing our best. So Magic Mind actually sponsored our travel to Too Beautiful to Live today.
Nice.
We don't do videos anymore, but if we did, you would see Lindy and I are wearing matching Magic Mind jerseys, our Magic Mind away jerseys,
And
they sponsored
hats.
our travel and hats. So it's pretty
And
huge.
Andrew is dressed like cinema character Magic Mike.
Yes, I
It's
did
so
not realize
weird.
we're not doing video anymore, and I gotta say,
Yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed.
Andrew is shirtless, and there's a lot of oil. It's very weird. Somebody didn't take their performance shot, and it was Andrew.
Camera off. Okay, where's that button?
Anyways, just to say, we love Magic Mind. It really does help a lot. It tastes really good. It doesn't taste like those other green drinks. It tastes delicious and has like cool stuff in there like turmeric, which is an antioxidant. It helps you. Very exciting.
Ashwagandha. I truly I had to stop drinking coffee because it makes me sleepy. You know what doesn't make me sleepy? Magic Mind. It's
That's right.
perfect. I have my little Magic Mind shot in the morning, and then I am sharp as a tack all day long, getting it done.
Yeah, get into it. So, and if you do want to get into it, check this out. You can get Magic Mind using our special code, magicmind.com/textmeback. You get 20% off your one-time purchase and up to 40% off for subscriptions with our code, which is textmeback20. So you want to get into it. Otherwise, your brain will be decidedly non-magical. And you don't want that, do you? Do you? Okay, real tidings. Lindy, I know you have a really good tiding. Would you like to commence?
I have a big fat tiding I can't wait to tell you about.
Yeah.
I am so excited to tell this tiding. Okay, so on the election day, Donald Trump won the president.
I'm not sure if you guys had gotten this information.
The reality TV
I was
guy?
taping that.
Not the apprentice guy.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm sad and I need, but and then for some reason, my first instinct when it seemed like Trump was going to win is I was like, I gotta rescue some kind of rancid creature and bring it back to life. You know, like I was like, I gotta go get the most fucked up, gnarly, like scraggly turtle or miniature horse or whatever, and
Like
I
an 87-year-old cockatiel whose feathers all fell out from stress.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's what you were really after.
I was like, I got to bring it to my home and I have to like bottle feed it until it's beautiful again. Okay. That was for some reason my instinct. Like I was like, I need a tangible little project that I can take from shit to fit,
Right?
from
I'm also taping that, so don't spoil that. It's the ET flower phenomenon. You need some kind of little weather, like a weather vane or an indicator of of life coming back in some way.
Yes. And so I mentioned that to my spouse, Ahame Filet. He said, no, absolutely not. He said, absolutely not. Absolutely no way. Even less now than before. He was like, I want another animal even less. So,
You want to bring an 80-year-old cockatiel into this world?
Yeah.
While the world burns, really? Where are your ethics, West?
But so then guess what? I put on my thinking cap and I came up with a new plan, which is called I'm volunteering at the animal rescue
Yes.
near my house.
exciting.
And
In the woods. So it's fully in the woods.
fully in the woods. It is not an animal shelter, like where people can bring their dog in and be like, my dog bit my kid or whatever. Or like, I'm moving and I can't bring my cat. Here you go. They don't do owner surrender. They only do cruelty cases, hoarding cases, neglect.
So some light comedy for you during these challenging times.
Yeah. Or
you're ready to laugh.
Yeah. So all the animals have been horribly abused, or they do like severe like medical cases, medical intakes, and wildlife rehab. So they have like bears, raccoons, possums, deer, but also all the wildlife is there to be released. So like the volunteers aren't even allowed to go into the wildlife barn because they don't want them to get acclimated to humans. So anyway, it's like a real special facility. And so I went to my orientation on Saturday and I am brimming with excitement. I would say over brimming. It's but I have a couple anecdotes that I wanted to share as my tidings. One, the animal rescue has a lot of livestock, and I live in an area with a lot of mountain lions. And so here's how the animal rescue protects the livestock. They have an attack emu and an attack llama, and they literally are there for protection.
Oh
and
my God. Like, do they work together or are they solo artists?
They're in separate pens. Yeah. But
amazing.
They are there for protection because like the llama will not let anyone hurt Henrik the pig, you know? And it is so freaking cute. So that is a thing that I didn't know about, that an emu will just fuck up a big cat. Did you know that?
The emu part checks out to me because I follow somebody on TikTok who's got like an emu that is always trying to actually murder her.
Yeah.
She has a kind of an animal form. And she has this incredible ability to like, so she'll just be talking to her phone and being like, okay, it's a Friday on Sunnybrook Farm. And then the emu will just be behind her and then she'll just be like, stop. And its entire beak will be an inch from her face. And like, they're terrifying.
They are terrifying. And do you know actually that there are two famous emu women on TikTok, and they're both lesbian emu farmers, but then it came out that one of them was MAGA and the other one wasn't.
I hope I'm not following the MAGA
I
one.
wonder which one was the MAGA one.
I don't know.
I was just looking this up because I was like, yeah, what is that emu's name? It has like a funny name, like Deirdre or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then this thing came up where it's like, there's two of them. There's two famous emus.
Yep.
Watch out.
Yeah.
Are there any undecided emus out there?
Persuadable emus?
Yeah.
Any RFK voters in the mix?
So we got it. The emu is... never mind. Okay. I was like going to give some identifying information about the emu, but then I was like, I should try to not dox myself too hard. Yeah. Well, the emu deserves privacy. So then also this is the really important thing that I want to talk about. So I feel like I grew up fat in a city, and in my heart, I was like born to be a horse girl, but it was just not an option for me. I never felt like that was an option. I felt like I didn't know where to find a horse. I didn't feel like I was allowed to get on one. But I feel obsessed with them. Oh, and there was a horse named Sriracha, and it sniffed me, and it went
cute.
It was so cute. Beautiful horse.
Solid horse impression, by the way.
Oh yeah. And then they have like a barn, like a paddock where a nice horse named Sriracha might sniff you. And then they have like the bad boy paddock barn where like the mean horses live that you can't go near because they were horribly abused. But so there's like two horses and a pig that are just like a mean clique that live in this other barn.
Do they smoke? Do they smoke cigarettes?
They smoke cigarettes.
I can totally picture this.
They're wearing leather jackets. They're riding skateboards. And I know what you're thinking. Does a horse stand up on its hind legs and ride a skateboard like a man? No, a horse has 4 skateboards, one for each hoof.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Get into
Fine line between that and roller skates. Do you know that and not to take away from your tidings, but it wasn't until I think maybe about 7 days ago that Luke brought it to my attention that a centaur has 6 limbs.
Yeah.
I think my whole life I've been picturing it one of 2 ways. Either it's like all hooves are on the ground and it just has like kind of a neck and a head, or maybe 2 hooves on the ground and then like an, bow and arrow thing. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize we're talking 4 on the ground, 2 in the air. We're talking 6.
Andrew, how else could it possibly be? You have to you have to think for a second. If it's no human arms, then what you have is like a worm.
Yes.
No offense to people that don't have arms. I don't think you're a worm, but okay, I've gone down a bad road.
No, keep digging.
There's only one possible way that a centaur could be.
Yeah, I just hadn't fully...
It is creepy, though. It's 6-legged like a bug, though. It is. That
hadn't occurred to me. Right. I mean, I was looking up all kinds of images of centaurs to prove Luke wrong, and they all just kept on coming up 6.
I wondered why you got sort of quiet for a while. There is a thing that happens on the show where if Andrew or I assert something and then the other person is like, I don't know about that, then the other person does sort of go into a quiet moment of quietly Googling to try to collect some exculpatory information.
Yeah,
do you guys do that on Text Me Back?
Yes. I would also like to say this happened just the other day when Lindy was like, I forget why you were mad about it. Okay, oh, you were mad because the hockey team, the Kraken, has some ad that was bothersome to you.
I want to tell it. I want to say
and
why.
Then you were like, the Kraken, this doesn't even make sense because the Kraken is famously from Greece. And I was like, the Kraken is famously from Greece? And she's like, yeah, duh.
He's Greek coded.
And then we looked it up. He's absolutely not from Greece. He's one of Lindy's cousins from Norway. In your face, dude.
Okay, really quick. I'm not going to talk for the rest of the time once I do this and then my tiding, but what I was saying was the Kraken has an ad that's like coming up from the depths or something. It's out of the deep comes the Kraken. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hockey lives on the frozen water and the Kraken lives in the liquid water. And you can't, they're fundamentally opposed. You can't have the Kraken. The Kraken cannot live in the ice rink, and the hockey team cannot play hockey under the ocean. Yeah. And the internal logic doesn't work. And then I said, I guess you could, if the ocean was frozen, you could play hockey on it and have liquid water underneath. But then I said that the Kraken was famously from Greece.
And the Mediterranean would never freeze. And then there was although this was happening over text, but there was some quiet Googling going on. I was like, famously?
You committed
from Greece?
The classic blunder, Lindy, that I do often, which is like, I'm actually making an okay point, or I have one fact correct. Like on the show the other day, I was talking about Skid Row, not the band. Andrew had brought up the band Skid Row. And then I went on to the famous Seattle association with that. The history of that, and then of course I placed it in the wrong century and said it was Hoover. I was just wrong about so much. It was but there's that moment of you kind of you have a fish on the line. You're like, oh, I'm saying something here. This is working, and then I never quit while I'm ahead.
Sometimes the vibes are more important than accuracy. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say that vibes are always more important than accuracy. When you're gisting, that's not a fact. You're not in the zone of facts. You're in the zone of gisting. Leave it alone.
I think that what is important here, the takeaway, is that everyone needs to understand that a podcast is fundamentally a competition. And the goal is to beat your friend.
Yes, that's correct. 1,000%.
Okay, let me finish let me tide for 2 more minutes. Other thing I want to say, because everything is a court case, an open court case, you're not allowed to take pictures of most of the animals. And so there was a whole room full of puppies that had come from a hoarding situation. And on the door, it said, no photographs. We're part of an open court case and we're in witness protection.
Unfortunately, that would only make me want to take more
Was
pics.
it witness protection?
It should have been, Luke. There also is there's one full-time raccoon that is not hidden away in she can't be released because she has a neurological problem. Her name's Miss Kitty. And she does not live in the wildlife rehab area, so I did get to take her picture, and I will be feeding her lettuce at some point. And and then the last thing I want to say, and this is like kind of a sad part of the story. You know, it's been a lot of laughs up until now. This part, I was slightly disrespected by the volunteer coordinator.
Who is a lemur?
Yes. So there were like 6 of us there, by the way, just 100% white women between the ages of, 42 and 62.
That's correct.
So, and then at the end, after the tour, the volunteer coordinator went around and was like, so I would love to hear each of your, impressions of the facility and what you think you might be interested in helping out with. So I said, oh yeah, I said this, I mentioned this earlier, I never finished my thought, that I always felt like a horse girl in my heart, but I don't have any way to pet a horse or be sniffed by a horse. And so I was like, I'm really up for anything. I just love animals. My husband won't let me get any more animals. And so I whined about it to the point where he was like, oh my God, just go volunteer at the animal shelter. Jesus Christ. And, but I love all animals. I'm happy to help out with whatever. And I guess I wanted her to look at me and be like, look at those frickin' shoulders. We need you out in the paddock shoveling the shit, and we're I can't believe you're here. You're ready to move in any direction, and like you're gonna be our go-to guy. And instead she was like, okay, I think we'll start you in the kitten room socializing the kittens. And I was like,
what did I just say?
I was just like kind of insulted. Like I was like, but because everyone else, she was like, okay, I want you to walk the big dogs. You have to take a special dog walking class to learn about and then she was like, you are going to work with the livestock because you like everyone else got like a hardcore job. And she looked at me and she was like, I'm going to put this idiot in with the fucking cats that you can't mess up.
Can I tell you something? You should not be offended by that. I used to foster kittens, and it's one of the spiciest jobs you'll ever have. They are very, very rude. And here's the best part of socializing kittens. So first of all, everyone should know all cats come from outside. Every single cat was born in a trash can outside somewhere. And the trick is to get them back inside before they go too feral. Mm-hmm. But all cats are outside cats. It's just, they're not all feral, but you got to catch them. You got to catch them at the right phase so that you can make them normal-ish in their minds. So basically, when you are socializing a kitten, you just grab it and you make it let you pet it. And so half the time they'll be hissing at you and purring at the same time. That's the sweet spot. That's how you know you're doing your job. It is not easy. You will love it.
Okay.
There's the toughest job you'll ever love.
I mean, yeah. Who rescued who, Lindy? Okay.
I know that I'll love it, and I hate using a shovel and being in the rain. I felt like she was calling me weak. I felt like she was making fun of me. You know?
Here's a butterfly net.
It's spiciest kittens to its spiciest warriors. This is a big job for you.
That makes me feel better. And she was like, if you're in the cat room, you'll meet everyone from the other departments, and then you can like get to know them, and then maybe you can branch out. I was like, okay. So I'm gonna do that. Obviously what I want to do is play with kittens.
Yes.
I want people to see me as robust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They didn't give you an ant farm and tell you to take care of that, and then let's see where it goes.
That's what happened to Andrew.
It's true.
That would have.
The files, like do the filing.
Oh, I just want to say one last thing that was humiliating, which is that she called on me first out of the group when she was like, I want to hear. And so then I didn't know like what this was supposed to be like. And so then I talked for like 5 minutes. I don't know if you guys have experienced that from me. I was like, here's what I'm like. Here's my life. Here's my job. Here's who I am. Hello. And I was like, I love dogs and I love cats, but I love all animals. And I also love horses, and I love a goat, and I love whatever. And then she moved on to the next person, and they were just like, horses. Like everyone else in the circle was just like, I like dogs. I'd like to work with dogs. So Part of me is like, you could never go back there because I do feel like I made a fool of myself. But part of me,
you have to go back. I'm living vicariously through you because you have. This is like I've been also really, really wanting to like either get an additional pet. I have one cat that doesn't even live with me right now. I'm not even on speaking terms with the cat. It's at my girlfriend's house in Portland because I'm gone too much. So, but I like deeply want to get another animal because I just have some emotional void. But it makes no sense because of my sort of work travel. And it hadn't even occurred to me. Yeah, just go volunteer, go be around animals. I wonder though, if you make a strong emotional connection, then the like, saying goodbye to that animal if they get adopted out or, the case, the judge rules in the case. Like, how are you preparing for that part of it?
I don't know. It's going to be horrible. It took 10 seconds. There is a 3-legged black cat named Tiny that only says squeak, squeak and not meow. And like, first
I
of
would
all,
die for Tiny. I just found out about Tiny.
yeah, I would also die. I came home and I was like, I'm so sorry. I petted a cat for 10 seconds and that's my cat. And that's actually my daughter.
It's actually my daughter. I actually gave birth to her. You
And,
guys
like,
missed it, but
there's all these statistics that like people don't adopt black cats, and I'm like, I will save Tiny's life, and Tiny will be my tiny baby. But then I came home and I said that, and then Aham immediately got mad at me. He was like, why can't it just be a nice thing that you went to the animal shelter? Like, why does it have to be a guilt trip that you bring home that I won't let Tiny come live here and now I'm the bad guy? I was like,
yeah. Also, are you allergic to cats?
yes. And then
Plot twist.
my eyes like almost swelled shut for the whole rest of the night. But
Wait a second, you can't be in the cat room.
Yeah.
I can.
She's not gonna tell that lady she's allergic to cats.
Oh, you guys, there was a line on the form, the waiver. It says any allergies. I said NA. And
my God.
I lied. I did a fraud. But I can just take a pill. I can just take an allergy
Does
pill. before I
NA stand
ever-
for nasty allergies? Just nasty allergies. Don't put me in the cat room.
That's what I'm gonna tell the judge when they find the perjury charges.
Oh my God.
I have a question for you. I mean, one of the most shocking parts of this story that has a lot of twists and turns is that you're part of a recruiting class. I thought for sure you were just going to show up and you were going to be like, hey, how can I join the fold? But like, what? This could be like a 1980s movie. Yeah, this is like police academy
It's
for
like Breakfast Club.
animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. It was like Saturday morning. We all gathered for detention to
Animal detention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently so there was recently a very famous hoarding case, very famous. There was a big hoarding case like in the area where this frickin' rescue had to take in 150 cats in one day.
Oh my God.
And 40 dogs. And so I think they've gotten an influx of volunteers. And so they have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, everyone's depressed and sad.
Well, yeah.
And wants to be around animals.
I feel like
So.
what you said about the demo showing up on this Saturday,
Yeah.
Lindy, was telling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of Kamala voters.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. One of them had a bumper sticker on her car that was the Trump font. But then it said pee pee poo poo.
That woman was Lindy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, so you have a new best friend.
Can I say my tiding? Because it's kind of related. Actually, Andrew, when you said ant farm, it got me thinking about my tiding. Because mine is also animal related, if you think about it. So my stress has taken the form of like filling my home with houseplants, even though I'm not great at keeping them alive. Although I've had better luck of late. But here is the terror that has befallen me most recently. My houseplants are infested, you guys, infested to the brim with fungus gnats. And they're disgusting and they're very annoying. And they, the British call fungus gnats like buzzy facey boys or something because they're always flying around like right here in between both of your eyeballs. They're really obnoxious. So I got like fly traps and the fly traps became like full of fungus gnats. Then I got these things called mosquito bits where you make this like bacteria slurry that's supposed to kill all the larvae.
Call them.
Mosquito bits, exactly. That's what they call cookies.
And they're terrible.
And so like I was like, I think I got a little over my skis because the mosquito bits were pretty effective. So I was like, I've done it. I've eradicated the fungus gnat infestation. And I stopped using the mosquito bits, and you'll never guess, Timtal, what happened. The fungus gnats,
They're back,
baby. And they've humbled me. There's so many of them, and they're all flying around right here in front of my eyeballs at all times.
Oh.
So I felt like I don't want to bring in pesticides. You know, I've got a bunch of pets, and I feel like pesticides don't even really work for this anyways. So I was like, you know, searching up what to do about this. And I came across something called beneficial nematodes. And they are these little microscopic buggies that you put in the dirt, and they are apparently very efficient predators. They just like zoom around your houseplants and eat all the and they just keep eating fungus gnats until there are no fungus gnats left. So I was like, okay, I'm ready to take the leap with the beneficial nematodes. So I ordered them.
Are they like sea monkeys? Does it
Yeah, a
show
little
you
bit.
a happy
Yeah.
family of nematodes?
Yeah, like a little bit. They're just sort of like come in like a little case full of powder, and you're like, I guess that's them. I don't know.
The mom
And
looked hot. The mom looked hot in the comic book.
Very patriarchal. It's like a classic dad
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
glasses, a little blazer.
I know, it's crazy. So I ordered the beneficial nematodes. I ordered like 200 million of them, and they came in a little box.
Must be nice to be
but
rich.
I know. Well, not everybody gets to be a Magic Mind ambassador. Anyways, so I used my Magic Mind money to buy 200 million beneficial nematodes. And then anyway, then I kind of forgot about it. And then I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost always ignore them, but this one didn't say potential spam, and it was a DC number. And it's just like not typical that you get like a spam call from a 202 number. I just thought that was weird. So I answered it. And this lady on the other, I said, hello. And this lady on the other end goes, hi. And I said, hi, hello. And she goes, is this Meagan? And I said, yes. Who is this? And she was like, Meagan, I got a package delivered to me and I don't want it. I don't want these buggies, Meagan. Come get your little buggies. Come get your buggies, Meagan. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, who is this person and what is she talking about? And then I started to put it together. She lives at the same number address as me, except 2 streets down. And so she'd gotten my package of beneficial nematodes. And I was like, what buggies? And she's like, I don't want this in my house. Because at first I was like, what do you mean you don't want my package? You got something delivered to you that was for me and you opened it and decided you didn't want it? And I was like, what the hell, lady? But she was like, I don't want these buggies in my house. And then I realized she was talking about the beneficial nematodes. So I'm like, oh, well, they're not really bugs. And she goes, I don't care. I don't want this.
That's a fair response.
Yeah. And she was like, I think it goes without saying she was very high on marijuana. So she was so she was very much like, come get these buggies, Meagan. I don't want these buggies. And so
had she released them into the atmosphere of her apartment?
Well, at first I thought maybe she had in fact opened the package, and like I couldn't figure out how did she know what was in it? How did she get my number? Like, how did she know what my name is? So I go over there. I was like, can I come get him right now? Oh, she goes, do you want me to put him in the freezer? And I was like, what? No. I was like, I'll just come over right now. I'll just come get them. So I go over there. And I got to meet her dog, a pit mix named Callie, very cute, by the way. And she came out in sort of like almost like comic book mom outfit. Like she was wearing like a pink fluffy robe and a bonnet. And I was like, this lady deserved to have a relaxing day off. She got stuck with my buggies and my weird ass coming to her house to get them. So I go in there and I was like, hey, I'm just here to get my package. And she goes, I don't want this. I don't want these buggies. I was like, I know. And so I'm like, I'm trying to apologize. And she's like, okay, go. And she's like, literally like doing the, like using her hands sort of like usher me out. And I was like, they're not really bugs. And she's like, have a good one. Have a good one. So I look at the package and they had sent it to her or they send it to me with a huge sticker on the outside that says live insects.
Oh.
Keep cold. And I was like, oh no. She really thought I was ordering some sort of like exotic cockroaches or something.
Crickets to feed to your boa constrictor.
I know, yeah. Or like live mice or whatever. And so and my phone number was on the outside of the package, thank God. So she was able to call me and be like, come get your buggies. And I can't, for as long as I live, I will never stop thinking about her saying, come get your buggies, Meagan. I don't want these buggies. I don't want it.
I don't want your little buggies, Meagan.
I don't want your little buggies, Meagan. And I was like, they're not bugs. And she's like, I don't care. Get out. Anyways, the nematodes have been applied to my houseplants.
What do they look like?
It really, like the box is very tiny for 200 million, you know? And it's just, it looks like cocaine, if I'm being honest. It's like white powder. And then you just sort of put them in the dirt and then you water the dirt, which disperses them, like I guess awakens them from their slumber. And so far, so good. I haven't seen a fungus gnat in a couple of days.
Did you rub a little bit of it on your gum to make sure that it was pure nematoid?
I was like, oh yeah, I was like, that's good shit.
That's the only way to do that. I'm worried about this.
This is from Miami.
I am worried about this situation. There's no way this doesn't end with you not having some sort of an aardvark problem. Like, I read this story as a kid. Like, it's going to escalate.
We're in little old woman territory.
It's very much if you give a mouse a cookie, it's giving. It's giving. Then you got to give them a milk, and it's like the nematodes are going to become increasingly demanding. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. I'll keep everybody posted.
I was going to.
I recommend
the nematodes are probably a more holistic, sort of naturopathic remedy. I was going to suggest that you use this thing that I have, which is like a blue light that you put this. So what it is you plug it into, like I have like on my kitchen counter. You plug it in, and it's like a little blue light that shines up on this little paper square, and you slide the paper square into the blue light device so that it's that kind of blue that bugs really, really get obsessed with. But the side of the paper is the stickiest.
You mean like my eyes?
Exactly. It's called Lindy West blue, and so it's basically having a blue light, but it's not zapping the bugs; they just get stuck to it. And I thought this was some bull crap or whatever, but I was impulse buying at Home Depot or something, and I plugged it in, and I came out the next day, and there was like 1,000, and it's like bugs of every like the Noah's Ark of bugs. It's like there's big ones and there's little ones, and there's like I had no idea this many bugs were living in my kitchen, but they're all stuck on there. And that's the downside, is you have to reckon with the destruction. Like the nematodes are just eating the bugs. When I change this thing, I change like every few days. I have to come face to face with the destruction that I have created.
Your victims.
My victims.
You've serially killed millions of innocent families.
And I have to tell you, I don't want to, sort of paint myself in too much glory here, but there are times now that I'll see a bug and he's walking along the like counter, like the backsplash, and he's going towards it, and I'm like, nothing good that way, buddy.
Don't do that.
I will literally swipe them away from the thing that I know will kill them. It's one thing if it happens when I'm sleeping. I can't.
That's not your business.
Exactly. That's between them and their God. I cannot look at another living creature, even if it's a stupid bug, and know that it's going towards its death and let it happen.
Like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to see it happen.
Exactly.
Okay, so Lindy and I are ass deep in animals. What's up with you two?
You have 200 million new animals in your life.
That's true. I
Lindy, tell Aham. 200
million microscopic animals.
You're an animal hoarder.
Can I tide in next?
Please.
Yes, please.
Well, my first one wasn't really a tidings. It was just a question. Should I leave my Harris Walls sign up for 4 years? Because where I live, it's like I'm really behind enemy lines here. And in fact, putting the sign up caused me more agita than I'm proud of, because like I live in a place where someone could really just be like, at the least kick your sign over, and at the most do something kind of a little dicey. Yeah. But now that it's been up, I cannot bring myself to go pull that thing out of the ground.
No, it's too sad.
It really feels like another sort of trauma or something. So it's just out there, and I'm like, is it going to be there for 4 years? And maybe I should just leave it there for 4 years as a reminder.
I would just leave it.
Yeah.
You could always you could become like that, the guy in Cleellum who always has the rotating magazines. Like you could start adding stuff to
exactly
it. Like
who
at
I
the
wanna
top,
be.
you could be like, don't blame me. I voted for Paris.
Well, that's
Falls."
kind of part of it, right? Is I do not want this country to become the place that I very much fear it will become or go more towards.
Yeah.
But there is a perverse sense of like wanting people to remember that they did this to us and themselves, which is a shitty way for me to process this grief. Is to be like,
it sucks.
I hope your
It's
life
like-
sucks, and I hope you remember that I made the right call.
I mean, you never want to be in a situation where you're like, I mean, I saw a lot of this after. That was like, you're going to get what you deserve. And I was like, I don't think anyone deserves what's coming. I don't think anyone deserves that. And you never want to feel that way, especially not about your neighbors. Yeah. But it's also like, I tried to tell you. It's a difficult emotion to feel both like, the information was available, and I don't know why you chose this, but I also don't think anything really bad should happen to you, although it will. But something bad is going to happen to all of us, you know?
Maybe I leave it up to the midterms. And then if we lose the midterms, then I leave it up for... I'm going to take it on a 2-year...
Yeah.
A 2-year basis. Okay.
Well, they're saying that Kamala might run for governor of California, so you could leave it up for that. You could just do like long distance support.
I'm in Southern
of her
Washington. I'm like one state north of that. I'm almost
super close.
California.
And Walls, well, who knows what could happen to Walls in 2028? Luke, you'll just be ahead of the curve.
Luke, before I could hear you getting ready to move on, but I actually would like to stay here for 1 minute if you don't mind, because I have a similar question regarding bumper stickers. Because I was behind a car yesterday.
You have your visualized Ballard sticker on still, right?
I read it. I have Keep North Aurora Weird. I don't know if that's interesting. No, but is bumper sticker technology the same technology as it was growing? Like, I grew up in the 80s, and it was my understanding, we were a non-bumper sticker household, and it was my understanding that there was nothing worse you could do to a car than put a bumper sticker on it, because that is like a tattoo, right? That is like never, ever, ever coming off. And I was behind a car yesterday that was, a Harris bumper sticker, and it did give me like kind of the bad, just gave me the bad feeling in my stomach. And I thought about the person driving that car and how they feel getting in that car every day. And I was wondering, like, well, is there recourse? Like, we all know that election cycles, good or bad, are going to be, cyclical, 2 or 4 years usually. So what is the plan for a political bumper sticker? When you slap one of those on your car, are you just locked in for life?
Yeah. I mean, my very first car was a 1987 Volvo sedan, and I put a Carrie Edwards sticker on that motherfucker like you wouldn't believe, and I left it on until Obama. Okay. Because there's maybe a little bit of like hipster pride about it, where I was like, I tried to tell you a little bit like what you're saying, Luke. I was like, I just kept it on the car. I think it kind of depends on where you live too, because there's a lot of anger and hate out in the world. So you might want to cover it up with something else. Maybe
you have to cover it up though. That's your only
sticker?
recourse.
Yeah.
You can't peel them. Okay.
You can peel them off. I mean, that's why you should put them on your window. Easier to get them off the window.
Goof
I had
off
my
and a razor blade.
Yeah. I used to have my Carrie Edwards sticker, and then to the left of that was my Stone Cold Steve Austin Whoop Ass 101 sticker. Both stayed on the car for the entire life of the car, basically. But you could always cover it up. But these days, they have magnets. If you don't want to commit, you can get a car magnet instead, and they're much easier to take off.
I had I put a Carrie Edwards sticker on my car in 2004, and then later I sold the car to my aunt. And then I saw the car, and she had like sort of violently ripped it off. Like,
oh, no.
It was like half. But I don't even think, I'm sure she voted. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't vote, but like, she's not like a Republican. But I think she just didn't want it on there. She was like embarrassed. I don't know. I was like, hurt my
John
feelings.
Edwards did ultimately become very embarrassing, so maybe she just was like, I don't like the way he treated
maybe she
that
was
lady.
She was trying to rip the Edwards part off.
It was an Elizabeth Edwards.
Totally.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, she stands.
I love seeing, particularly in Seattle, growing up in Seattle, I love seeing an old car like with just all the different things that this person has thrown their weight behind, as the sort of like rings on a tree.
Yeah.
Or the sedimentary layers, like Dukakis, and like just whether it's candidates or Greenpeace, like issues that are kind of especially salient at some point.
Yeah. A random Gregoire thrown in for a good local measure.
like I have a lot of tattoos and a lot of tattoos that I haven't really thought through very much, and I always sort of describe it as just being like having a sense of hopefulness about the world, like as opposed to, and this is me just justifying that I have a lot of tattoos I haven't thought through, but like being like, I don't know, maybe I won't like it someday, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it or something. It's kind of just a reminder of things that I've thought in my life at some point. So I don't know. I think I like the idea of leaving them up just as a reminder.
Yeah, just leave it up.
My mom's obsessed with those the magnets, and she loves to have a magnet on her car to help her identify her car because she drives a very generic car. And so then she wanted to get me into the magnets, so she bought me a stack of magnets. And like they were fine, but I was like, except no, they weren't fine.
They weren't fine. There was one really crazy one.
Yes, so the magnet that she wanted, and then she was mad when I didn't put this on my car. It said, "Honk if you banged my mom." I was like, "Yeah, don't put that on my car. What is wrong with you?"
You know what? I'm with your mom on this one. You fucked up. You should have put that on your car immediately.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
I still have it.
I had no idea your mom had that sort of sense of humor, Lindy. I mean, seriously.
I mean, it's a little outside the box for her, I gotta say.
Also,
It
I,
is. It's a little bit outre.
I also
for
have some
Izzy.
bad news, Lindy. Honk.
Beep,
Me,
beep.
me. Oh no, not all four of us.
Okay, what's the next? What's the next?
It's just a quickie, and it is that. And again, I'm still trying to understand fully how tidings works. This is, I think, time number 3 that we've done it.
Yes, you and me
not
both,
rules.
buddy.
But I will say that I am feeling, I like everybody and like most of the listeners, obviously, there's a sense of dread around all of us at all times, and that really sucks. But I will tell you that I have actually, I am ahead of the game on Christmas presents this year, which has never happened to me before. I think something inside of me needs like a safe place, and for some reason that's like Christmas music, Christmas shit, which I know is
Yeah.
it's a pretty basic endeavor, but
No, Christmas music rocks.
Like-
I love
really,
it.
It really gets you to the right place emotionally.
and like this idea that I think, Instagram and Instagram shopping and also the TikTok shop, these are things that are probably overall making the world a worse place. But I have just been, when I see something, in fact, I got Andrew something in the TikTok shop the other day for Christmas. We don't even do presents.
What?
But this
I
is
was
what I'm doing.
going to joke about what do you get the podcast co-host who has everything.
I got you something, Andrew.
Wow.
What I'm doing.
I want to guess what it is, but I'm scared to guess it correctly, and then you won't be able to like.
If you guess it correctly, I will. I'll send you one as well. Try to guess.
Is it the bagel sweatshirt made by the old Jewish men in New York in their tiny shop?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's okay because I already have one of those.
So do I.
And it's really cozy.
This is
And you
what I-
got me one. I have one too.
Yes, because they accidentally sent me 4 instead of 2, and they let me keep it.
Oh, I thought you got me a present.
No, I mean, I got, but then I had 4, so I was like, I was
Okay,
just giving
okay.
them out to everybody. But I got it for you also. But then I had 3 extra. Anyways, go on, please continue.
What I've started doing now is, because I'm being bombarded, particularly on Instagram. They really have me figured out as far as things that I am likely to try to buy. Like, you know what I mean? Of all the different ways that the internet tries to sell you shit, most of it's ineffective. Most of it is I'm reading the Washington Post, and there's like a sidebar ad for like, and it's like a really buff guy who's like 60, but he's wearing a t-shirt that clearly what's written on the t-shirt just gets swapped out by some algorithm. And it'll just be, like, I can't even give you a good example, but just like most of the shopping that is aimed at me, the commerce is so wildly off that it doesn't work.
Well, it's
Instagram-
always like, I got my grandpa's sense of humor and my grandma's gun, and my mommy loves me. I went to Tennessee for college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
And-
like
and-
that.
and
It's
as
on a
I've
shirt.
as I've
Is
said,
that what you got me?
Yeah. Well, shit, Megan. Now you guessed it. Verbatim. But like Instagram really kind of like has me figured out, which kind of is a sucky feeling because I think, well, I'm very predictable. But I see things on Instagram all the time, and I go, that would be fun to have. Or Now I'm thinking, hey, you know who would like that? And I am, typically what I've done is waited until the day before Christmas, and then I'm running. First of all, I just have anxiety because I'm one of 7 kids. I have a daughter. I have a girlfriend. There's a lot of people for me to buy. I have a co-host. It's a lot of people for me to buy presents for, and I never do it. And it makes me. It means that part of the holiday season for me is just anxiety because I haven't done any of this. And what I've started to do is when I see something in the TikTok shop, like I did yesterday, and I think, I bet you my friend Andrew would get a kick out of that. And I know this sounds like a message supporting consumerism because that's what it is. I'm just saying. Also, Andrew, the thing I bought you was $4, so just don't get too.
Oh shit!
I don't understand the economics of how it's getting mailed to me from Malaysia
now
for
I feel
$4.
Now I feel like I do know what it is.
What is it?
I just panic bought you a new stereo system because I heard you got me a gift.
Perfect.
I think it is a Christmas ornament of Tim
Robinson
on the
Megan, that's exact fucking.
I've been seeing
I
those
think
too.
I think you're only here for the zip line.
Yes.
yeah, on the zip line. I just got served that yesterday.
I cannot believe it took you 2 guesses. That's exactly what I got for Andrew.
I just got served that yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to buy that. And then I was like, I've never in my adult life, purchased my own Christmas tree. I don't need a Christmas ornament. And then I was like, I'm going to get the zip line.
It hangs so perfectly. Thank you for thinking of me, Lou.
Perfect intersection of memes and Christmas ornaments. So yes, Andrew, that's what you. It's actually for you and Genevieve.
I was going to say I can't wait to tell Genevieve because she's the one who first showed that to me before it ended up in my own feed as well. So she will be psyched to hear that.
Okay, so that's a bad example because everyone's getting everyone that this year. But there's also I got my girlfriend something that actually takes like 3 weeks to make. And I put the order in the other day, and I was like, hey, look at that. Lord willing and the creeks don't rise. That'll be here in time. I guess what I'm trying to say is if you are anxious out there and if you are someone who does have to do some holiday shopping and you see something being served to you and it seems like something someone would like, you might just check it off the list. If you have the, resources to do that, because this is the least, again, globally very stressed. Christmas wise, low stress. That's my tidings.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm the same where I feel like I do the Ask app not to track, so I feel like kind of safe, and then somehow Instagram is like, you idiot, you fool. You think we haven't been paying attention to what you've been double tapping? Idiots.
Yeah, you think that you're going to be able to stand up against a really cute old pennant that says Melakaliki Maka?
Is that what you think? Idiot.
For $80 that I recently ordered for myself.
Regularly getting got by a vintage looking poster.
I just saw this video. I just watched this video of Kristen Bell being like, "Oh, I just ordered 3 things from targeted ads. I shouldn't have spent my money. I didn't need any of these things. And now these things are coming to my house." And I was like, "Oh, been there, sister." And then she said what the three things were, and one of them was like well, first of all the things were great, and I was like, "Oh yeah." But one of the things was like a bird feeder with a camera in it, so you can see. And I was like, I'm so glad that this is her ranting about not buying stuff. And so it's not an ad and there's not a link to this product because I would buy this product. But Instagram knows, it listens to the videos. And so then the very next day I received the same ad that I'm sure she got, that she got by. And it's the freaking bird feeder with the camera in it. Specifically the one of the 3 things how does it know? It didn't give me the other 2, just gave me the one that I liked. And I haven't bought it. I didn't click on it.
I bought it.
I might click on it. Does it work? I worry that
I don't know. I returned it. I bought it in a moment of haste, and then it came, and then I realized it was like 200 and something. The one I got was like 200 and something dollars.
Yeah.
Because it has a camera. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was just having one of those days where I was like actually looking at my bank account. I was like, this is not something we need to be spending $200 on.
No.
Sent it right back. Boy, the UPS store in Longview, Washington, they know me well. I'm a return girly. I'm there every day with
it's
shit
a real norm situation every time.
Exactly. I emotionally buy things because I need to feel something, and then they get to my house, and I'm like, no. We're driving this down the hill.
I was thinking I have gotten an ad for that too, and I was like, oh, that does sound nice. But one, I don't really give a shit about birds at all, and two, it's just in
Somebody
DC
finally
that's
said
gonna
it.
be. I don't really care what they get up to, and two, in DC that's gonna be full of rats by end of day one. So
That becomes a
moved
rat
on.
cam. Ugh.
Rat cam. No thanks.
That's a incentive for me. I would love more rat cam.
DC
Okay.
is such a slept upon city for rats. Everybody, the New York rats get all the attention.
I know.
The biggest rat I've ever seen in my life, I was sitting in an Uber. I was on Florida in DC, and somebody's front yard was raised up, and there was a rat that was easily the size of a small dog that was just chill, like
nasty
doing its
here.
thing. The scariest rats I've ever seen were when I lived in like Adams Morgan or DuPont Circle.
Yeah,
rather.
well, because they have little interconnected highways underneath like Adams Morgan and DuPont. They're terrifying. They eat people's car wires. I've heard of people having their cars totaled because of rat damage, like brand new cars, because replacing the wires was too expensive. And they can eat through garbage cans. I know this because there's a huge hole in my garbage can from where a rat ate into it. So
This is
Pass.
something that we're dealing with right now. In fact, I almost brought it up when you were talking about kind of like having to deal with your infestation of your bugs. I don't know what actually made me think of this earlier, but we have a detached garage that we do not park any cars in. It's very, very unfinished. You know, I'm sure it's porous as heck, and we don't keep much in there, you know, in the way of things that rats would want to eat, except for all of Genevieve, my girlfriend's, like bird food and stuff. And some of that stuff comes like pre-spicy. Do you guys know about this? Like rodents don't like spicy things, but it doesn't affect the birds.
Oh,
so Genevieve
smart.
gets like pre-spiced stuff. So that's fine. But then she has these other things that she would keep in a big, thick, like I'm going to say, I don't know, is it Gladware, Tupperware? I don't know what it is. One of those big garage bins, right? Genevieve went out there the other day and she says, well, the rats have gotten through it. And that doesn't mean that they like took off the lid carefully and set it aside and had a lunch.
Oh, they didn't?
They just,
Never.
I don't even understand how they got through there. So now we're having this whole conversation in our house about like what is the proper way to deal with this, because it's not like they're in our home where we should, you know, if there's some place where they're getting in, we should seal it up. Like it's a really kind of crappy little garage that is not connected to our house. And so, you know, I don't want to be a bad partner, but I told Genevieve like pretty much straight up, like I can't help with this. Like whatever decision, like, and I
You
was
were
like,
like,
serious. I'm like,
Genevieve, you are not adopting another animal.
yeah, right. Because Genevieve was like, do we do live? She's like, I don't know what to do. Are we going to do live traps? Or are we going to like, well, and I just said, I don't really understand why you're using the word we here, because I can't explain to you enough. Like, I can't be a part of this. But Genevieve is like, well, I really like the you know, any kind of sticky trap is really inhumane. Any kind of trap that would kill them. She's like, I just don't think I can handle that. So the plan now apparently is to put live traps in there. And Genevieve, and we live sort of near a really, really big cemetery here in town where there's a lot of wild animals, and Genevieve's plan, I guess, is to trap these rats in like sort of a live cage situation and then walk them a couple of blocks down the neighborhood to release them into the cemetery. And to me, I'm like, well, that what are we solving here? Because I don't feel like there's a big barrier between the out of doors in our neighborhood and the in of doors of our garage.
They're immediately coming back.
You're just giving them a ride. It's just a field trip.
Not to mention the people in the cemetery. Mommy, where's Granddad? He's in a better place, being shit on by rats.
That's right. He's a rat king now.
Covered by plague in the rat superhighway.
So I have no idea. I mean, I guess Genevieve's plan is to like sort of give him a ride to the cemetery. I said, are you going to put him in the car or are you going to walk him over? She said, so I said, I don't want to get into a car if I know a rat's been in there, even if it's been in like a cage. And she said, I think the plan is to walk it over. And so now I'm kind of delighted by this. I think Genevieve's got some real Ramona Quimby attributes. So I'm sort of like picturing a neighbor just sort of peeking out their shade in the middle of the day and just seeing Genevieve walk by.
She's
with
walking
like
a rat on like a piece of yarn.
Rats.
Or a whole bunch of them, like a rat walker potentially. I'm not exactly sure how this is
like
all
one of
gonna
those
play
cat
out.
strollers, but it's full of rats.
Yeah. Or those like, you know, have you ever seen someone with like a bird and a clear plastic backpack? But it's just like a writhing ball of rats.
Yeah, so anyway, we're moving.
All right.
Yeah,
Hey,
seems right.
I hate to say this, but I gotta go soon because speaking of being prepared for holidays or not, I actually am cooking Thanksgiving dinner tonight. So it's 4:37. I have to go start.
Right. Let me just end with this. It's something I've been wanting to tell you guys, and this was the only thing I had kind of queued up anyway, which is about 10 months ago, I started getting a lot of emails from listeners of our show and your show saying that you went on a whole journey regarding a phrase that my uncle said when I was a kid, and I think you know what it is, and it's one of my favorite expressions of all time, shaking like a dog shit in peach pits. Yes, Uncle Frank, Uncle Frunkle. If you're ever in Cleveland, Ohio, and you run into an Uncle Frunkle, that's the man I learned that phrase from.
What? It's so weird. You know what we get a lot is, I'm so sorry to say this, but you can all stop sending me that clip from Veep. I've seen it.
Was it in Veep?
It was on an episode of Veep where I think Matt Walsh's character says somebody was shaking like a dog shit in a peach pit. And people are like rewatching Veep. And so we get the clip in waves in our Instagram DMs. But I had never heard it before. So it was in this dumb movie that we got at Fred Meyer on VHS called Big and Hairy, where a boy becomes best friends with the Sasquatch who plays middle school basketball.
It's not dumb. It's not dumb. It's not dumb, first of all,
the
for the record.
But it's not a Harry and... Is it part of the Harry and the Hendersons verse?
But clearly someone was trying to cash in without violating
Teen Wolf,
the IP.
Harry and the Hendersons.
It's literally... It's literally...
dog.
It's Harry and the Hendersons meets Air Bud, because the Sasquatch is recruited to play middle school basketball, and that's how they win the championship, because there's nothing in the rule book that says a Sasquatch can't play middle school basketball. That's a scene.
Look it up if you don't believe that.
And
but
that's
one
in
of
the
characters
Criterion
says,
collection?
Yes, it's right next to Royal Tenenbaums and Citizen Kane. Anyway, so one of the characters says that the Sasquatch is all hunched over like a dog pooping a peach pit. And we, for the longest time, could not figure out what he was saying. We thought he was saying grooming, which didn't make any sense, but neither did pooping. None of it made any sense. It was just not a saying either of us had ever heard. And so when we were still making our show with KOW, the crack reporting team at KOW tracked down the screenwriter, Brian Daly, and he called in to be like, it's pooping. And it was like the greatest day of our lives. It was amazing. But if we had known, we could have just called you.
It wasn't the shaking part that we didn't make, because that was the thing. My uncle with my dad ran a kind of a fab shop. And if a machine was shaking, he'd be like, that thing is shaking like a dog shit in peach pits.
It was being hunched. It was about being hunched.
Yeah.
I think the shaking is the part that I've never been able to get out of my head. I heard about this. I heard about this first and only through Andrew, and the idea of a dog shaking like it's shitting a pee. I mean, that's what's landed most of the dogs in the rescue that Lindy's volunteering at.
That's why they're all in witness protection. Keep feeding them peach pits.
Yeah.
Well, sorry for bringing it up.
No, thank you.
Really quick before we go, could you do an impression of your uncle saying it in in the classic style?
Well, he's a pretty he also, just for the record, introduced me to the phrase, "It's raining harder than a cow pissing on a flat rock." Are you familiar with that one?
No.
Well,
no, that's good.
That's another one. But honestly, he would say it like that. We're not that different. In fact, our hairlines are very, very remarkably the same these days.
That's good.
That's good.
Well, Timtal, thanks for having us.
This has been fun. Thanks for agreeing to do this. And one of my favorite activities on Instagram is watching Text Me Back perform at places that I've performed to much larger audiences.
No.
Like
No,
the Reeser
impossible.
and the Seattle Public Library and places like that. All places I've performed to half full houses. So congrats on your success of late. It's awesome.
Thanks. And if you want to support our show, check us out, patreon.com/textmebackpod, so that I don't have to work in politics anymore and we can just keep making podcasts forever. Thank you.
Bye.
Help.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh, wait. Bye. I'm so sad. Also, this is our last show of 2024. So we're taking a month-long break. I hope you do the same, listeners, and also Andrew and Luke.
If you guys are looking for something to listen to, come on over to TBTL. We're still making this shit 5 days a week.
So smart. Do that. Yeah. Do that. But yeah, we'll see you in January. Okay. Or you'll hear us in January.
In your ear holes. That's what the sound goes.
Text me back.